Whoa! I never thought about that!
Today, we're unpacking something we all rely on, yet it constantly frustrates us: traffic lights. Picture this. You know the exact feeling. It's late, the roads are completely dead, and you're just stuck sitting at a glowing red light. Who or what is actually in control here? Are these things just broken? And that is exactly the burning question we're exploring today. How do traffic lights actually know you're waiting? Or, let's be real, why do they seem to completely ignore the fact that you're waiting? We spend literally hours of our lives staring at these hanging colored lights, yet the hidden engineering behind them is kind of just an absolute mystery to most of us. So in this explainer, we're going to peel back the asphalt and look up at the sky to finally solve that mystery. Okay, let's dive into this commuter's dilemma. Because driving through a city can feel entirely chaotic, right? Sometimes you pull up to an intersection and the light changes for you instantly, almost like magic. Other times, you're just waiting forever on a red, and you watch in disbelief as an entirely empty crossroad is gifted this long, luxurious green light while your packed lane just sits there idle. And then out of nowhere, an ambulance appears and somehow effortlessly parts the sea of gridlock. It feels so inconsistent, but as we'll see, there's actually a deep, highly structured logic hiding just beneath all this chaos. Section 1. The Invisible Machine. Let's look at the past versus the present. To really understand how far we've come, we have to look back. Early traffic lights were incredibly simple, and frankly, they were completely blind. They ran on fixed timers. You'd have a rigid 30-second green, followed by a 5-second yellow, and a 30-second red. And that timer just ticked down no matter what. It didn't care if there were 100 cars waiting, or literally nobody. It was basically a dumb clock. But compare that to our modern smart signals. Today's systems actively monitor the environment. They use sensors to make dynamic timing adjustments based on actual traffic density. So they aren't blind anymore, they are highly aware. Which brings us right to Section 2, going underground, to see how these systems are actually detecting cars. The absolute secret weapon here is the inductive loop, and it's a brilliant piece of physics. Imagine a large loop of wire buried right under the pavement just before the crosswalk. Electricity runs through those wires, creating an invisible, upward-reaching magnetic field. It's essentially an electromagnetic bubble sitting right there in your lane. When you drive your 2-ton metal vehicle into that bubble and stop, your car actually disrupts and changes that magnetic field. And the computer sitting in that silver cabinet on the corner, it instantly detects that magnetic disturbance. That's step 4. It registers, a large metal object is waiting in lane 2. You aren't just sitting on the road, you're actually physically interacting with it. But wires in the ground are really just the beginning. Let's look at Section 3, Eyes in the Sky, focusing on cameras and AI. We've fully moved into the era of AI traffic monitoring. Now, some intersections use high-definition cameras combined with artificial intelligence to literally watch the road. The system uses computer vision to look down and estimate exactly how long a line of traffic is. It calculates congestion levels in real time. It even monitors vehicle movement, distinguishing between cars, bicycles, and pedestrians. So the system isn't just detecting the presence of a giant metal box anymore. It has actual visual awareness of the entire flow of the intersection. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how adaptive traffic control solves one of our biggest driving mysteries. Remember that empty road getting a green light, or your light turning green instantly? Well, that happens because the system dynamically throws out the standard timer. When the cameras or those magnetic loops detect that your lane is packed, but the cross street has 0 cars, it purposefully shortens the wait for the empty road and extends the green light for the heavy traffic. It adapts on the fly to push the maximum number of cars through as efficiently as possible. It's a real game changer. Zooming out, we hit Section 4, the macro view, looking at citywide coordination. If you've ever driven down a long avenue and magically hit 5 or 6 green lights in a row without stopping, you haven't just gotten lucky. You've been riding what's called a green wave. City planners coordinate sequences of traffic lights to actually talk to each other. If you drive at the exact posted speed limit, the lights are programmed to turn green progressively right as you approach them. The wave literally ripples down the avenue. This massively improves the city's overall fuel efficiency, cuts down travel time, and heavily discourages speeding. Because if you go too fast, you break out of the green wave and hit a red light. But there's one scenario where normal rules are completely thrown out the window. Section 5, the VIP treatment for emergency vehicles. When an ambulance needs to get to a hospital, it basically hacks the grid. As it approaches, it actively beams a wireless signal to the upcoming intersection's computer using radio transmitters and GPS. The system receives that signal, immediately overrides all its normal patterns, forces a green light for the approaching ambulance, and instantly drops red lights on all cross-traffic to safely halt the grid. It is absolutely fascinating to watch. And this brilliantly illustrates what the industry officially calls emergency vehicle preemption. It's a specialized, highly secure communication protocol designed specifically to save lives. It preempts the normal flow, prioritizing emergency transport above everything else. It's the exact reason why ambulances seem to just glide through what should be a completely gridlocked, dangerous intersection. But wait, it gets even smarter than just changing the lights right in front of them. Modern ambulances plug directly into the city's smart traffic network. They utilize live traffic data and GPS navigation to dynamically calculate the absolute fastest route to the hospital. The smart city brain helps route them down avenues that minimize red lights and actively bypasses areas of severe congestion. So they don't just clear the path, they find the path of least resistance before they even get there. Which brings us to a lingering, almost paranoid question in Section 6, the brain of the city. Is it manual or automated? Is there a human just sitting in a room somewhere flipping switches for millions of cars? The short answer is no way. The vast majority of everyday operation is completely handed over to automated computer control. Algorithms handle the real-time adjustments and the magnetic loop detections. Now, sure, there are large traffic management centers where humans sit in front of massive walls of monitors watching the major roads, but manual human intervention? It's incredibly rare. Those operators only step in to override the computers during extreme emergencies, major accidents, or massive events where the normal algorithms would just fail. Otherwise, the machines run the show. Let's move forward and see how this builds into the future, because what we have today is really just the foundation. We're entering the era of the smart city. Soon, AI won't just react to traffic, it'll predict it. We're going to see real-time vehicle-to-grid communication, where your car literally talks to the traffic light a mile away. We'll see intersections coordinating directly with self-driving cars to seamlessly weave them through cross-traffic without anyone ever needing to stop. The ultimate goal here is identifying and stopping traffic jams before they even have a chance to form. And to make that future possible, you need speed. Right now, modern intersections are analyzing traffic flow, checking those underground magnetic loops, assessing the AI camera data, and deciding whether to change the lights, hundreds of times every single minute. That is a massive, relentless calculation speed. It's operating so far beyond what any human could ever manually react to. So the crucial point is this: traffic lights are no longer the simple, blind, rigid ticking clocks they used to be. They're an unseen, highly advanced neurological network of sensors, computers, and AI. They're giant automated systems quietly making brilliant, real-time decisions to coordinate millions of moving vehicles every single day, keeping us safe and keeping us moving. Which brings us right back to where we started. The next time you're sitting in your car late at night staring up at that glowing red orb, I want you to ask yourself, are you just seeing a broken, frustrating timer? Or will you realize that you're sitting inside an invisible magnetic field, communicating with a massive, thinking machine?
And that's just one tiny big question. Imagine what's next, subscribe, and let's keep wondering.